Welcome to Gemara Academy. In this class, we will learn Tosfos the Ramaschal Kan L'mayla Miyud. Let's begin. Kan L'mayla Miyud. The Gemara presented two brises. One said that if a person extended his hand outwards on Shabbos while holding something into Rosh Hashanah, also lachzira, he can't bring his hand back. And one said mutar lachzira, he could bring his hand back. So originally we wanted to say that the brises are arguing whether we give the person's hand the status of a karmelis, as a knas for extending his hand outside on Shabbos while holding something, or not. The one that says also lachzira holds that we give his hand the status of a karmelis. The one that says mutar lachzira holds that we don't give the person's hand the status of a karmelis. Afterwards, the Gemara said that it's possible to learn the brises differently, and to say that actually both brises hold that a person's hand does receive the status of a karmelis. So why does one brisa say asur lachzira, one says mutar lachzira? It's kan l'mata miyud and kan l'mayla miyud. Here, where it says asur lachzira, it's referring to a case that his hand is beneath 10 tefachim, and since it's a karmelis, he can't bring it back in, because it's also to carry from a karmelis to Rosh Hashanah. And one said mutar lachzira is l'mayla miyud. It's referring to a case where his hand is out above 10 tefachim. And since it's above 10 tefachim, there's no karmelis. Rather, that's a makam p'tur, and from a makam p'tur, it's permitted to carry into any rishus. Therefore, you can bring it back in. So Tosfos asks, and if one asks, l'mayla miyud, if it's above 10 tefachim, so l'chatchila nami mutar lohitzia. Even originally, it's mutar for him to take his hand out. It makes the have a makam p'tur because it's a makam p'tur. It makes no sense to say that the brayz is teaching us that if a person extended his hand outside above 10 tefachim, he can bring it back in. There's no if. A person's allowed to extend his hand above 10 tefachim outside. There's no problem. It's a makam p'tur, so of course he can bring it back in. You don't need a brayz to teach it to me. There's no chiddush involved. The din, it's a straightforward, simple din of a person is permitted to take his hand outside and he's permitted to bring it back in. So it makes no sense that the brayz would teach it, number one. And number two, the brayz says if a person did it then. There's no if. You're allowed to do it. It's written as if it's an isser. So Tosfos explains, V'yeshlim, can answer. The Kamash one is coming to teach us. Even if he took it out originally, by way of under 10 tefachim, so that's usher. He wasn't permitted to do that. We gave his hand the status of a karmelis. He now carried it outside from Rosh Hashanah beneath 10 tefachim, holding it outside in Rosh Hashanah. That wasn't permitted because it was under 10 tefachim. So it's teaching us that even if he did that, mutar lachzira l'mayla miyud, he's permitted to bring it back to himself by way of above 10 tefachim. We don't give him a knas. So to summarize the Tosfos, we asked that if the case, and it seems to be, of the brayz that says mutar lachzira is referring to a case where he extended his hand above 10 tefachim, it's telling us he's allowed to bring it back. There's no chiddush in that, number one. And number two, there's no issur originally. And the brayz is written as in a way that if a person extended his hand outwards, he did an issur, will allow him to bring it back. There's no issur involved. Tosfos answers, the way to read the two brayzes is as follows. They're both referring to a case where a person did an issur. He extended his hand outside from Rosh Hashanah into Rosh Hashanah while holding something beneath 10 tefachim. Brayz says asur lachzira means you can't bring it back beneath 10 tefachim. The one that says mutar lachzira is saying that you can bring it back by way of above 10 tefachim. Just to point out that according to this, it comes out that when a person extended his hand beneath 10 tefachim, he's allowed to bring it back in. Brayz says asur means to say it's asur for him to bring it back in under 10 tefachim. However, we have the other brayz that tells us it's mutar. It's telling us, so to speak, a solution. Bring it above 10 tefachim, and you can have it back into Rosh Hashanah.